certainly heard a lot of different topics today. I'm going to get back to the strong survive. Actually, the strong don't survive. If you look at the bald eagle, the grizzly bear, they're going to die off. So it's the strong really don't survive. So who does survive? Well, cockroaches, they're doing pretty well. Rats, they're doing pretty well. Raccoons, I see them all over the place in our neighborhood. Why are these guys doing well? What are you thinking?
They're adaptable.
They're adapting. They're adapting to us, right? And so it's not the strong that survive. Sometimes the strong can die off. And so the question is, how do we adapt to all of these changes? And even if it's not accelerating, I still think it's accelerating. You think it's not accelerating, but I think it really is that we need to learn. That's the number one skill that we need to work on. You're thinking about learning this and learning that, but there's also learn to learn. And you might say, oh yeah, I know that. Yeah, I should learn. Yeah. Right? The thing is that our society is not made for teaching us how to learn. Right? We go to high school, our goals are set out for us. Oh, you got to get from this grade to this grade, then you got to go to college, and then society gives us goals too. Oh, you have to get married, then you have to have kids, right? These are all objectives and goals that are given to us. Yeah, I just came back from a trip to China. You know, how many women in here are over 25? Anybody here over 25? If you're over 25 in China and you're not married, you have very slim chance of getting married. Because those kind of goals have already been tossed out. They're there. And so these goals that are put out for us for learning, you know, I got to graduate from high school, I got to get into a good college, right? Those are goals that are given to us. But what happens after that? And so I think that it's really important to develop what I call learning strategy. And a learning strategy, of course, includes all the 5 W's and the H, but also how much, right? And the thing is that each of us learn differently, and there's all kinds of different ways of learning, right? How many people learn best from reading books? Anybody? Some people learn best at home, reading books. And then there's some things that you can't learn reading books, like swimming, like bike riding. If I were to give you a book on bike riding, would you know how to ride a bike? No. If I were to give you a book on Chinese and you sat down at home, Joe, and read the whole book, would you know how to speak Chinese? No. There was a book put out by Malcolm Gladwell called Outliers. Anybody read this book? I love the book. And he talks about the famous thing in his book is, you got to have 10,000 hours of practice. He brings up the Beatles and all kinds of things about, you got to have 10,000 hours. And the thing that he forgot in there, he doesn't mention, is that you have to have feedback within those 10,000 hours, right? And here's a picture of me swimming. I talked about this in the last conference. And you notice how my head, the angle of my head is a little bit looking forward. It's funny though, the reason I'm looking forward is because in China, when you go swimming, it's like chaos, and you got to be looking where you're going. Somebody's going to be running into you, so I have to get rid of this habit. But you notice also that when I look forward, my butt is changes the angle of my butt in the water. And so my coach was pointing this out. You know, you got to put your head down so that your butt goes up, right? And you can see I've improved a little bit there. My butt's starting to go up. You can see I have a different bathing suit. I keep going back, and I keep trying to improve. Still not quite there, but my butt's getting up a little higher, my head's going down a little bit lower. But also, you can learn from watching other people. You look at her head angle, and look at how her butt comes to the surface, so she's floating across the water. So it's not 10,000 hours of practice, 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 right? It's learning from others, getting feedback, getting a coach. And you've heard me say this before, it's not practice with feedback makes perfect, not just practice makes perfect, right? And so when you develop your own learning plan, I like to think of it as a tree structure. And I've heard a lot of topics today that made me think, okay, maybe I should put that in my learning plan. Maybe that's something that I really need to pay attention to. How many of you have a learning plan? Like you did, okay, I'm a sophomore, I need to complete this. How many of you have a plan like that? Probably not. Do you have a plan on what you're going to learn next week? Do you have a plan on who you're going to talk to and network with to absorb and share knowledge? Do you have a plan how many books you're going to read, or conferences you're going to go to, or new subjects that you're going to learn about? Do you have a plan? Maybe not. And I'd like you to take away today to own your learning. Your survival and adaptation to the changes that are happening today are all depending on you learning. So map out a plan. This is what I'm going to do this year. This is what I'm going to learn. Maybe it's you want to be a better public speaker. Maybe it's I want to learn automation. I want to be great at Selenium. I'm going to go to this course. I'm going to join this meetup. I'm going to do this. You have to have a plan. It's not going to happen by itself. Right? So now I'm going to talk about acceleration a little bit. Acceleration is happening so fast, we don't really understand it. And let me give you an example of the acceleration that's happening. Maybe 1,000 years ago, I would have a knife and maybe a spear, and I could walk over here, and maybe I could kill Joe. Right? Maybe if I was good, I could kill him in, 30 minutes, maybe, like that. But that would be where it ended, because Andy would come over and stop me. Or maybe if I was really good, I could kill Andy too. Right? I could kill 2 people in half an hour. Then 500 years ago, we had guns. Okay. Well, maybe I could kill 6 people or 8 people with a gun. Or a musket. Maybe I could kill 1 guy, right? Now, you just heard recently that we had another mass killing. Now you have people that can kill hundreds of people in a few seconds. That's acceleration. In the 40s, we saw that you could have a couple guys in a plane that could kill millions in a few hours. That's acceleration, right? That's powerful. And now you have the coronavirus, right? We heard about that. Already killed 17 people in a few days. That's also acceleration. Now, if you had somebody skilled enough, they could kill the whole world with a virus. That's scary, isn't it? That's real acceleration. And so what I say to you is that it's not what you can do, it's what you can really learn to do, because what you can do today is going to expire, right? So to adapt, we have to keep learning new things all the time, and the acceleration is only going to keep getting faster. I invite you to use PNSQC as part of your learning strategy, part of your learning platform, because it's really difficult to learn by yourself in a vacuum. Like I said, you need a coach, you need new ideas. Like today, I've learned a heck of a lot of stuff on things that I need to learn, right? In closing, this whole event today is all about opening the call for proposals. The call for proposals started today, actually. We opened our conference proposal system. It's called Open Conference. The deadline is April 15th. I invite all of you to submit papers. Last year, we had about 150 submissions. We're adding a different type of paper this year. It's called a technical brief. So a technical brief is a little bit shorter, not as rigorous, and about 20 to 25 minutes of a talk rather than 45 minutes or 40 minutes. We're also continuing the weekend or tomorrow with a acceptance testing workshop in Salem, co-sponsored with the state of Oregon. And then later in the afternoon, myself and Brian, the president, we're going to be giving a workshop on public speaking to help some of you get over that hurdle and submit a paper for next year. And with that, we'll see you in October. So thank you very much for coming today, and look forward to seeing your abstracts. Thanks.